Hi, my name's Edward Willie. Some people call me Redbird. Um, one of my favorite things to do is to go out into nature. I go out in a lot of different places here in California. I live in California. I'm from California. Uh, so those are the plants that I know are the native California plants. And here's one right here, Ceanothus plant. Um, and it can be used for medicine. It does a lot of different things, uh, and it's a nitrogen fixer, so it puts nitrogen into the soil. Um, and so when you go out into the state parks, you'll see this everywhere. And one of the best things about it that people like is when it blooms. It blooms. It's just at the end of its blooming cycle right now. You can see some of the blooms there. But when it's blooming out in the wild and a whole hillside's blooming, it's a really pretty thing. So yeah, so when this plant is blooming out on the hillside, it's a really beautiful sight for for us to see when we see it out there. There's places where a whole hillside or a whole ridge will be covered with these blooms during its blooming season. And right behind it, we have the elderberry, and that's a very special tree for us here in California for the native people. We used it for a lot of things, uh, for medicine and for instruments. We use the wood for instruments for our clapper sticks and then also flutes. We made flutes out of it. And we use the berries and the flowers for the medicine. Um, it's a very special plant for us. And it grows, if you go out into the forest, you'll find it in the riparian zones along creeks or in wet areas in the under canopy types of places. Um, so go out and look for it sometime. This is what it looks like. Has the opposite leaves coming out, opposite leaves. People use elderberry a lot for antiviral, uh, for its antiviral properties, the berries especially. So it helps with colds and flus. But you have to learn how to make it from um, professionals, and they'll tell you how to make it and how to use it properly. You can't just go out and make it if you don't know what you're doing, and just you can't just read something on the internet and go out and make it. That's not the right way to do it. You have to learn how to become acquainted with the plant, go out and visit it, see what it looks like, hang out with it, and that's how you learn how to um, use these plants. Right here we have the manzanita bush, another native plant, and it's also is used for medicine. Uh, the roots are used for medicine of certain manzanita plants. There's all kinds of manzanitas, different types of manzanitas, and some are used more often for medicines and some aren't. Um, Another thing that is used for manzanitas are the berries. You can make a tea out of the berries, make a drink out of it. Here's a picture of, or here's one of the berries there. There's only one here right at this moment. If you go out in nature and you go at the right time, you could find manzanita bushes all full of berries. Uh, what else did we use it for? The native Californians also used to use the wood of the manzanita for regalia, types of regalia, pieces of regalia, because it's a real special wood. It carves in a certain way, and it's a hardwood, and it, in certain the heartwood of manzanita is dark, so they'll go after that really dark piece of wood and make hairpins and things like that out of it, out of the larger manzanita bushes. This here is a Vermontia or California flannel bush. It's a another really nice plant, nice native California plant. There's a blossom right there. The blossoms. And these plants are known for their blossoms. It just the whole tree will fill up with these bright red flowers, bright big red flowers. One of the things that this plant is used for is cordage. You can make cordage out of the bark, the inner bark. California Indians used to make cordage out of a lot of different things. This was one of them. And each cordage would be for a different purpose. I don't really remember. I don't think people remember what Fremontia cordage is for, though. It probably had a specific purpose. This is a plant that was very special to California basket weavers. It's a redbud, western redbud. Um, this one's really quite healthy. They're usually not. This one's being irrigated, and so the leaves are really big. I don't usually see the leaves that big. And what was used in this plant was it's also a nitrogen fixer too. It it helps fertilize the soil around it. But what's used by the native Californians is the bark. I don't know if we could get a picture of that bark. It's a certain color. Let's try this one. It would be certain types of redbud will have a reddish bark color to it, and that's the kind that was preferred, and it would be used as the darker color patterns in baskets. They would cultivate the redbud so that a bunch of shoots would come up, long straight shoots out of from around the main plant, and those shoots would be taken and turned into long strips of bark, and those long strips would be woven into the basket. So that's the redbud. Here we have willow. There's all types of willow that grow around in California, around near creeks and near water. And this here is a willow that was used for making baskets. It's a good basket plant, basket willow. Not all willows work good for baskets, but for pomo baskets. But this one was one of them that did. It's a good one. And then right next to it here is a dogwood, another plant that was also used for baskets here in California. And willow was used for medicine. It had a lot of uses. We used it for a lot of things. The bark is used for medicine. Another one of our plants that we find all over in this part of California, actually found all over the world, but this is our version of it. Artemisia. It's in the Artemisia family. It's mugwort. We use it for medicine and for smudging and things like that. It has a lot of good uses. Well, this place where we are is Miwok Park in Novato. Just one of the many places you can go to find all of these native plants. And just in right this one small area, there's so much happening here. We have the bay laurel, which we call pepperwood. The native people call it pepperwood, and we use it for smudging and for ceremonies and things like that. And then there's the coast live oak here. And then what I wanted to point out was this. That this one of our really special plants here is it's sedge. And this was one of the main plants we used for weaving our baskets here in this part of California. What these plants do is they make rhizomes that shoot out, and then another plant will grow up, like right here. There's a new plant growing in. So there's the rhizome connecting these to that one. And the rhizome is the one that we weave with. We go and dig out the rhizome, and then we turn that into the little weaving threads. We also have a Buckeye here, another California native, and native rose in here. And more pepperwood growing up, new pepperwood shoots here. What we used to do with these, let's see if I could do this live on the spot. This is the old people would use these pepperwood leaves for calling people, for making whistles. Everybody go out and enjoy enjoy our California native places and familiarize yourself with these plants, because there's these plants that I talked to you about, and there's just so much more out there. Go out there and learn about them, and the main thing is to take care of them too. Once you learn about them, then you know what they need, um, and you get a relationship with them, and that's what they need. That's what all of our plants need, and that's what we need. So get out there and enjoy nature.